without parental consent. Parkview High School, Missouri, one of the district's equity champions, a teacher was made to explain to her colleagues that they must acknowledge their privileges and lean into their discomfort as part of the LGBTQ plus 101 training program. Yeah, sign me up for that one. Look, most people see this happening and they're like, meh, at least it didn't happen to my kids. It happened to someone else. They think it will never happen in their school district, but it will. How do I know that? Because it's happening to me in Greenwich, Connecticut. With a Republican Board of Ed and a Republican mayor, it is still happening. The virtually unfireable bureaucrats feel like they can basically just do whatever they want. In this case, Dr. Tony Jones, not a real doctor, more like a Joe Biden doctor, who has been a national lightning rod for woke ideology over the last 3 years and makes over $400,000 a year in total comp. What is she just does whatever she wants. In her 3-year tenure at Greenwich Public Schools, they've just seen white privilege survey, one that Dr. Jones specifically denied at a school board meeting was happening, but it was circulated to students anyway. There's also an assistant principal suspended for openly discriminating against Catholics. Y'all remember that one? Second graders at the time, my own daughter's grade, were shown a video with a cartoon erection and drunk parents beating their children. They taught CRT despite denying that one too. A few teachers tried to cancel Mother's Day last year, wanted it to be called Childbearers Day. There is currently a no question policy in Greenwich Public School for bathrooms. Teachers can't question a male walking into a girl's back locker room. I'm sure no high school boy would take advantage of that one. Some of the content that is still being taught to this day is so egregious that when it was printed out by a parent, they were thrown out of an adult school board meeting for it being too inappropriate.
I'm asking you, we're just following the guidelines of the state of Connecticut and the governor. Please, I'm not one here to argue with anybody. Okay. The last time, I'm one person at a time, the last time you were here, your signs were out and we deemed some of them to be inappropriate. Because of the language on there, you can film me all you want.
Okay,
because of the language on there, I believe it's inappropriate to be at the meeting.
Just for context real quick, the quote signs referred to in that clip were enlarged pages from books that are in sometimes still mandatory reading in the school's curriculum. We had to heavily censor all these readings as they can't even be aired on national television. All this, all the media coverage, all the angry parents pounding the podium at Board of Ed meetings, and they keep doing it. I mean, what does it take to get rid of these people? Some of these things that they're teaching would literally qualify as distributing sexual content to a minor. But the loophole is if you're doing it with an educational intent. Totally fine. If you did the same thing 100 yards off school property, you'd probably go to jail for it. But it's getting even crazier, and that brings me to this. The latest saga surfaced this week where freshmen in high school, like 14-year-old kids, were shown a gender fluidity video.
There is so much more to this picture than just 2 options. There are at least 5 main considerations when examining a person's gender and sexual orientation. There is the sex the person is born with, the gender they identify as, the gender they express, the gender they are romantically attracted to, and the gender they are sexually attracted to. And there can be a difference between whom we are attracted to and whom we have sex with. For example, you can be attracted to any gender but only have sex with females, or any combination of the gender and sexual identities. You can be attracted to all genders or to none. It all depends on the person.
Nope. Nope. This 7-minute social justice word salad was narrated by this human, who I wouldn't hire to be a barista, let alone make content for our schools or for our children. The real story here, though, is that this school district has what they call an opt-out policy, where parents can opt out of sexually explicit material like this. They can opt out of social health curriculum just like this, and many did. But despite that, teacher blew it off. Teacher just showed it anyway. Was that teacher fired? Not to my knowledge, not yet at least. They just do whatever they want. I guess my message here is that these schools across the nation, stop messing with our kids. I, along with millions of other parents, will literally die for our children. You think we're just going to roll over and let this stand? They got another thing coming. But we have to make them care. That's the problem. And everybody in every school district all over America, you got to get loud. You got to go to your Board of Ed meetings. Because these bureaucrats, they don't have a product that you can boycott like Target or Bud Light. Their sales don't drop. unless they're school choice, but even that they don't really care about. The only thing they respond to is enough pressure that gets their bosses enough negative press to potentially not get reelected. So I don't care where you are in America. If you care about your kids, you got to make your voice